When we celebrate Pentecost, we celebrate this amazing gift of the Holy Spirit being given to those who follow Jesus. And it's an incredible time for us to recognize just how involved and engaged the Spirit is. But I often find there's two different ways people respond to expecting or engaging or thinking about the Holy Spirit. The first is that they expect extraordinary things, spectacular things, amazing things, or maybe they don't really expect anything at all. But I think there's a better way to think about the role of the Spirit in our lives. Now, in my tribe, the Christian Reformed Church in North America, there seems to be less emphasis on the Spirit than maybe there should have been, especially since John Calvin, one of the key scholars who helped kind of shape our tradition, has been called the theologian of the Holy Spirit. Some in our tradition mostly focus their attention on God the Father, as the one who created, leads, and rules, organizes the world. Others have focused on Jesus and what he has done for us, though sometimes it seems like they're not looking at Jesus to learn about him and therefore what we can learn about God in general, but maybe simply to see what he has done to get us to the Father. The Spirit, however, sometimes seems to be relegated to the background. It's that crazy uncle that everyone knows is there, but no one ever really talks about. However, without the work of the Holy Spirit, all of the benefits of Christ remain outside of us. John Calvin, in his Institutes of the Christian Religion, writes that it is the energy of the Spirit by which we come to enjoy Christ and all his benefits. Without the work of the Spirit, we stay disconnected from Jesus, and none of the things that he earned through his life and his death and his resurrection are given to us. They remain his. Calvin puts it this way: until our minds become intent upon the Spirit, Christ, so to speak, lies idle because we simply coldly contemplate him as outside ourselves, indeed far from us. And so the Holy Spirit probably has the biggest role in our connection to God, but in a way that is perhaps more subtle than we might expect. And I wonder sometimes if our lack of understanding of the Holy Spirit is because we expect it to do things that we could label dramatic or astonishing or breathtaking. We only identify specific quote-unquote miracles as the work of the Holy Spirit, and even then we hardly acknowledge the Spirit's role in it. But the Spirit is always around us and is always active. John Cooper, emeritus professor of philosophical theology at Calvin Seminary, wrote in the Seminary Forum in fall 2007 how we have sometimes maybe forgotten the Spirit. He says, today, we don't have a mundane enough view of the Holy Spirit. The Spirit is the Lord and giver of life. The Spirit is there in Genesis 1. The Spirit makes trees grow and hearts beat. The Spirit gives people intellectual and artistic and engineering gifts and teaches farmers how to farm. Now this, you might call the general operation of the Spirit, sustaining, helping, and developing all things according to their created order, but we also talk about the special operation of the Spirit, by which it gives, develops, and shapes the new life we receive through our faith in Jesus. Cooper put it this way. He says, I think the living faith, the life-bearing, sustaining faith of those hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people over the last 4 centuries, or really over the last thousands of years, that's the work of the Holy Spirit. And I'm not going to look down on that just because it isn't flashy. It is the Spirit that unites us with Christ and gives us new life. It's the Spirit that helps us cling to God when we have hard times. It's the Spirit that helps us recognize the good things we have and connect them to a gift from God and be able to thank God for it. It is the Spirit that makes us understand what it means to follow Jesus. It is the Spirit that helps us to love those who are difficult around us. And when we follow Jesus and trust in him, we are united with Jesus in his death and his resurrection. We're given new life. That is the work of the Spirit. It is a supernatural miracle. This is the charismatic miracle, the regeneration of a human heart like mine, and it happens all the time in the Christian church.